You are the thing that can transcend your problems. I thought this was an interesting concept, and I picked it up from Alex Hormozi. And don't get me wrong, I also believe in things like this, but he also talks in a very harsh format of this. But he was talking about most problems, and I do agree with this statement: anxiety, depression, as long as it's not full-blown chemical depression in your brain, fear of failure, all that kind of stuff is all in your head. And you can transcend your problems. You are the tool that overcomes these problems, that allows you to be the better version, that allows you to take the action to do the things. But so often we are overwhelmed and overthink it and allow anxiety and inaction to cause us to stay stuck where we are without ever actually opening up and addressing our problems. And I love the concept of it, and I think it's true. As someone who has been anxious, as someone who has been depressed and suicidal, as someone who has gone through these stages and evolutions of my life, that anxiety and paralysis is caused by living in the future and the consequences of those actions. And depression is caused by living in the past. And for as long as we continue to live in these states, we are going to have problems and ongoing problems that are going to fuck with us and mess us up. And they are this spiraling down effect where we just get worse and worse and worse. And truly, I believe the answer to all of those things is action. The answer to anxiety is action. The answer to depression is action. The answer to getting out of these cycles is action. Generally, they are caused by inaction. And that can be from over-analysis. So you get anxiety, paralysis by analysis, because you're overthinking and you're overcomplicating. And to this day, I am still prone to this. And sometimes it takes a kick up the butt from someone important to me, or it takes me taking a step back and actually analyzing the situation and looking at what's causing this situation. But when you are stuck in this anxiety-driven place of, like, how can I get out of this situation? How can I create, better solutions? You need to take action. And oftentimes, the simplest form of action is exercise. I keep coming back to it because fitness is my background, but it is the tool to everything. Everything that starts with success, with a better life, with happiness, with motivation, with progression forward, starts with fitness. It starts with exercise. It starts with discipline. It starts with focus. It is the easiest place to begin with, and it has the greatest flow-on effect in every other area. So, yeah, the point is that we start with the fitness. And where do you start with that? That depends on you. That depends on you and where you're at. But you just have to start. And yes, you can come to me and I will give you the answers. We can go through it and, we'll build it out for you. But there's also endless information. You want to start with the most basic way to begin to improve your health, your strength, your fitness, your aerobic capacity, your heart health, your conditioning, dropping weight. I would suggest a weighted walk. It requires no skill. It requires very minimal equipment. In terms of an investment, you can get, if you wanted to go the cheapest option, if you're in Australia, you can go to Kmart and you get one for like $45. Like, it's not a big investment. Get a 9-kilo weight vest, strap that sucker on, and go for a walk for at least 45 minutes. And then the next day, try and go a little bit further. It doesn't have to be time-wise, but try and go a little bit faster and go distance-wise. The metric I aim for is that minimum, you want to be hitting on a regular basis, and you can build to this point, but the minimum you want to be for that kind of threshold is a kilometer every 20 minutes. And that I do firmly believe is, a kilometer and a half every 20 minutes. That I firmly believe is pretty doable. And the ideal one, and I'm not going to lie, with the 20 kilo weight vest, I still haven't been able to hit at the moment, is a kilometer and a half every 15 minutes. But there's a target. There's a simple thing. And don't want to buy a weight vest? You can try the rucking method. Get a backpack and fill it with books or bricks or something like that. Get some weight on your body and go for a walk. Stop making it overly complicated. Yes, I understand with the workouts that can be a bit more, where do I start? Especially with weight training, like where do I start? What do I do? What style and method do I do? I would just say start. But failing that, the weighted walk, it requires zero thought process. It requires zero skill. You're just putting something heavy on your body and going for a walk. It's why it's one of the tenant things. And its bang for your buck is astronomical. And I've spoken about this before, but it's one of those ones that I always find fascinating, how similar ideas come into into being from very different places. Like, I came up with this one during COVID, and I just thought that it would be a great fucking way to burn extra body fat, and it would be difficult because I knew that bodybuilders who were preparing for comps would wear weight vests around the house so that their body would think that they are heavier, and it would raise their metabolic rate, and they would continue to burn fat. Because one of the unknown facts is that as you lose weight, as you trim down, your metabolic rate actually goes down because it's not required as much. And as a, whatever you want to call it, a safety feature, a protection mechanism, something along those lines, the body tries to store extra weight in case of famine. So it'll try and hold on to it. So as you are going through that and you're losing weight, the body thinks that you're starving, and then there is lack of food, so it starts to hold on to things more. So one of the ways you can trick your body into burning more fat is making yourself artificially heavier, aka a weight vest, aka a weighted walk, or rucking, or however you want to term it. But there is some incredible studies around rucking and the company Go Ruck, which I'd never heard of until like a couple of months ago, and I fucking loved seeing those things. But this concept that I just put together, that I thought it would be really good, and yeah, the military has been using it for decades as their form of conditioning for the military. So you can progress it up to about between, the highest level I think they recommend is about 60 to 65 pounds, which is about 30 kilos. And having experience, that's probably about as far as you want to take it. That 30 kilos is pretty fucking rough going, and it doesn't seem to matter how frequently you do it. It is still pretty fucking rough going. But get out and create action. Get out of your head. Get out of your own way. You are the person who can transcend your problems. Clear your head. On top of that, getting outside, getting vitamin D from the sun, getting into nature. These things will also improve your cognitive function. It will break the paralysis by analysis. It will break the anxiety. It will break the depression. It will start moving you forward. We need to be outside. We are creatures that have been locked inside, and spending too much time inactive, doing fucking nothing, causes these problems that we're basically going mad inside because we're not fulfilling these needs that we have. And there have been more and more studies on this, that you need to get into nature and the benefits of it. The Japanese government launched a whole department to measure happiness and satisfaction, and found that people being in nature for even small doses of 15 to 20 minutes a day has astronomical effects. And they found, I think the minimum dose is 3 times a week, 15 minutes. That's not a large ask. That is not a difficult thing to add. And then across, I think it's the next step up is once across a month, I think it's 5 hours of total submersion. So no phone, no technology, no anything like that. And the 15 minutes can be a walk in a park. It doesn't have to be like actual nature. It could be park or trees or bushland or whatever. You just need the effect of the trees and the way that affects your mind and your eyes and your interaction with the world. So that disconnect in nature. And then the last one, which I do understand, and even for myself is a much greater ask, is 3 days fully immersed with no technology, no nothing, just you and nature, all in. And as I said, that's a much bigger ask, but the benefits it's shown in terms of reducing anxiety, reducing depression, improving mood, happiness, gratitude, the ability for the brain to function, all these kinds of things is astronomical. So I do firmly believe that that is something that we could add in or look to add into our lifestyle. But these are these things that when we get caught in these spaces and these doom spirals that we keep, spiraling down, we need to step out of it. And it's hard. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that this is like, oh, just fucking pull yourself up by your bootstraps, mate, and let's get the fuck going. No, I understand it is really difficult, but you need to make that choice. You need to make that decision and take control, because part of it is that you've lost control, and that's why you're spiraling, that you feel like you're out of control. So what are the things that you can control? Your movement, your actions, your physical body. So get out and use it. Get some dopamine, get some endorphins flowing, get the body functioning and moving, and you'll clear out that energy that's stored up in there. Make it difficult, push through it, and you'll have a sense of accomplishment. But it's why I recommend that we start with the weighted walks, because that barrier to entry is so low. It is so small. Yes, I can give you workouts that you don't need much equipment for or no equipment for. We can give you things along those lines to get you started. But you don't even need to follow along. You don't need to learn anything. You don't need to pick up skills. You can just literally strap something heavy to yourself, a backpack, a weight vest. You'd carry a kettlebell if you wanted. It's a harder version, but you can do it that way. Pick something and go for a walk for 45 minutes. See if you can get in for 3Ks in the 45 minutes. Well, 3.2 technically. Or go for the full 60 and see if you can get the 4.5Ks in there. It'll up your steps. It'll reduce your risk of morbidity. It'll improve overall general health and fitness. You'll get stronger. You'll get fitter. Your heart rate will get better. Your aerobic capacity will get better. So many things of your life will get better. Because as I said at the start, you are the one who has the power to transcend your problems. And this is a really simple way and yet effective way to do this. And it has all the upsides with no downsides. And if you really wanted to push it for your mental health and you really wanted to kick it up a notch, and again, I do this 2 or 3 times a week. It's not my favorite way to do it at the start, but I always love it at the end, is a no technology one. So as you can see, I'm often got my headphones in. I'm often dialed in, listening to something or something like that. And it's something I'm trying to get away from. I'm trying to just be at peace and in my presence. And getting out in nature with a weight vest, with the purpose of walking for that time frame, I go without. And it's amazing how many great ideas come from that, how much clearer my thinking is and my focus is, and how much more beautiful all that kind of stuff is, and how it cleanses away any stress, any thoughts, any issues that may be going on, or gives me the solutions to find this so that I can then step into further action and do what has to be done to become the best version of myself, to overcome all those problems that have arisen. Because 99 times out of 100, all those problems aren't actually problems. They're just in your fucking head. So you just need to progress forward and do the work and let all of that slide away. So I hope that helps. I hope you will take this on board, and I hope you will utilize this in the fashion that it's meant. That you will go out and you will make something of this. Use this. Go for a weighted walk. Make it happen in the next 7 days. Set yourself a target that this is what you're going to do. Then you're going to get a weight vest, a backpack with books or bricks or something, and just go for a walk. And cleanse your mind and get into action, get into movement, and start progressing forward and see how much of a difference it makes in your life. And lastly, simple platitudes. If you found value of this, if you took something from this, if it taught you something, please like, comment, subscribe. Please join me in this greatness movement as I progress forward to make an impact and change as many lives as humanly possible. And if you're ready for the next step, please click the link in my bio, join the Daily Greatness Mail. There's 10 tips on how to become the most mentally tough man that you can be while transforming your body and your life. So grab that while you're in there. And lastly, if you're ready to burn the motherfucking boats, to go all in and to see who you can truly become, to become the best version of yourself, please send me a link. Let's throw you in the deep end. Let's throw you into 126 to greatness and see who you can become in the next 126 days. Until then.